Daily Detroit is brought to you by the community. Support our work at patreon.com/dailydetroit.
Hello, friends, and welcome to your Daily Detroit, sharing what to know and where to go. I am Jer Stays, coming to you from our studio at Tackdown. Today, we have an almost full house. To my right, none other than producer extraordinaire Cheyenne Nocerini. How are you?
I'm great, Jer. How are you?
I'm so glad to have found you. How's the house move? Done now?
It's finally done.
How does it feel? You're still in Oakland County.
We're still in Oakland County.
Southern Oakland County.
Yes. As south as you can go before you hit the border.
You could like throw a baseball and hit Detroit at this point.
Yes, I could. Really.
But there's so much stuff happening in Hazel Park.
There is, yes.
And we've featured some of it, and we're going to continue to talk about some of that stuff, things that you bring to us. Not as much today.
No.
Just caught you randomly because there's some fun stuff that we're going to get into. Then on to my left, somebody who's only been on the show, I think, once before. I think he is the perpetual new guy. None other than Luciano Marcone. We also call him Big Lucci. How are you? It's good to see you. You're often behind the scenes, but for this episode, I wanted to bring you out front.
It's great to be let out the closet.
So we are going to try the new Boston Cooler put out by Vernors. This is limited edition. If you don't know, there's a ton of Detroit history. And no, the Boston Cooler is not from Boston. Then we're going to talk a little bit about one of our favorite places that I think deserves a little bit of shine, the Detroit History Museum, especially because, Luciano, although you are a lifetime Metro Detroit resident, like many, you have not seen every single corner of our wonderful attraction. So I think seeing the world as you see it is going to be a fun little thing. It was your first time at the Historical Museum.
Yes, and I loved every bit of it. It was fun. I felt like a kid.
Don't believe everything that you see. Silicone trees, could they ever grow leaves? Don't believe everything that you see. I want to be right here, right now.
The Boston Cooler, this new bottled soda from Vernors or Pop. I guess I did break the rules already.
You did.
The Boston Cooler has a very interesting story because, of course, it's tied to Vernors. People think that the Boston Cooler is from the East Coast city. It is not. The lore is that, especially since it's connected to Vernors, it's from Boston Boulevard or near Boston Boulevard, the Boston Edison neighborhood. And the whole idea is that it's basically Vernors and vanilla ice cream. So this is a limited time bottled offering we're going to try from Vernors. People say they love our taste tests. This is a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
As a lot of these pops are. That's just the way it goes. So people know, creamy vanilla and ginger soda. The stats on this one, 128% of your sugar in one bottle. So we're going to split this up 3 ways and still be buzzing.
Am I going to get the diabetes?
I hope not.
Cheyenne, you are the master of ceremonies. Let's hear what that sounds like.
All right, let's crack this bad boy open.
How's the nose?
More cream soda, less ginger.
It's like a fine wine. Giving it a little swirl. I should have done this in a wine glass.
I was saying I packed up all of my belongings to move, and I actually have a set of 4 Vernors glass cups, and I was really bummed that they're packed away in my basement right now.
Let's go around the table. Cheyenne.
I love cream soda, and I love Vernors, but I don't know if I love them together in this iteration.
I feel like this is a bottle of neither.
Yes. It does give you the Vernors burn.
Yeah. It's very muted, though. Big Lucci.
Not as good as I expected.
What are we missing? You know what? The key about the Boston Cooler is that the ice cream adds
The creaminess.
creaminess and a texture. And I keep wanting this to just be Vernors.
Yeah, not as good as a pop flavor. It's better when you mix the ice cream into it. Creamy vanilla, but I don't taste the vanilla.
It's artificial vanilla.
That's the issue, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the artificial vanilla. It's not like, because when I make a Boston Cooler, I get French vanilla
Like good ice cream.
Yeah. Like it's always quality ice cream too.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's do the vote. Is it thumbs up, thumbs down, or meh? Cheyenne.
I'm going to say it's like
You got three options. Strong opinions.
A high meh?
Big Lucci.
I would drink it again.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up?
One
You drink it again.
thumb up, not two. It was okay. I've had better.
Send your hate mail, dailydetroit@gmail.com, about how we're blasphemous, to one of your favorites of Detroit history. Go get some Vernors. Go get some ice cream. Do that. That's the way to have a Boston Cooler.
Yes.
Listeners all the time talk about how they want to know about more favorite things to check out around Metro Detroit. One of my all-time favorites is the Detroit Historical Museum, which has been around in one form or another since the 1920s, but they're building in Midtown on Woodward since 1951. It's been one of my favorite places since I was a kid. There's multiple stories. Downstairs in the basement, you've got a whole thing with the old streets of Detroit throughout the eras. I love the storytelling that happens there. But here's the thing. I first went to the Historical Museum when I was like 10 years old with my grandmother. Mm-hmm. I managed to get in trouble right away because somehow I ditched my grandma and ended up just baby ducking onto a tour, like a guided docent tour of the old streets of Detroit. And this is before cell phones and everything, people. So my grandmother lost me for an hour while I was right there in the building the entire time. This place has always had a lot of love in my heart, but recently, and I know you've gone before, Cheyenne.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But in this series of where Lucci has been, because so many people we know are either new to the region or honestly, like, you're under 30 years old. It's not a place that you had been before, the way that you had grown up and everything. So it was, I was really glad to be able to take you and show you the different exhibits. What were your thoughts?
I had a fun time. Like, I've been around the DIA, I've been to the Henry Ford Museum, Greenfield Village, but I'd just never been to the Historical Museum before. And there's a breadth of topics with depth of experiences, right? You got audio, you got visual, you got interactive stuff. There's various things for everyone, young, old. My favorite thing was the Heroes versus Villains exhibition, which we covered previously on the show. One of my favorite superheroes, Static Shock, who I didn't know was created by a Detroiter, Dwayne McDuffie.
Let's roll a tape back for a second, because who is Static Shock? That's not one I know.
Oh, dude. Static Shock was one of my favorite superheroes, right along with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Spider-Man. Static Shock is a black superhero, Virgil Hawkins, and he can control basically static electricity. And the animated series covered, even though it was for kids, it didn't treat kids as like dumb. Like, it covered homelessness, it covered racism, it covered everything. And then Dwayne McDuffie also created a few of my other favorite shows when I was a kid, Justice League Unlimited and Ben 10. So this was a little bit after your time.
Friends, yes, I just got called old. Anyway, continue on.
It turns out a Detroiter was responsible for some of my favorite shows growing up. And I did not know that, but going down into the exhibition and checking out all the various heroes, The Simpsons, for example, co-created by Metro Detroiter, it was just very cool to see, like, because you hear about people from LA, New York City, all these different places out on the coast, but no, someone from here was actually responsible for something amazing in pop culture. So it was very cool to see. Oh, I also got to see Model T and actually sit in it. That was very fun.
I have a picture of that I'm going to share on our Instagram stories, because it's classic. It's classic. What was your favorite, more permanent exhibit?
It was the Detroit 67 Perspectives. I've read about that plenty of times in articles, books. I've even done a presentation about that during undergrad. And I like that it didn't shy away from how rough it was. It was very detailed, and I just appreciated how, like, brutally honest it was. Because it can be uncomfortable talking about, like, those more dark periods of history. And it really wasn't that long ago. Like, there are still people who grew up during that time and remember it.
I mean, my mom lived on East Grand Boulevard during the rebellion, and
Yeah, my dad was actually at Wayne State.
Yeah. And my grandma and my aunts and uncles and my mom were actually leaving their house, and she opened her car door and there was somebody hiding in their car for safety. And, she apologized and said, we have to leave. And, so like, this is something like my mom went through, so it is very fresh.
I think it left a very strong impression with a lot of people who, everyone had their experiences, and there were real rough experiences with it, but also there was also a pretty large lack of understanding of the social issues underneath it all, because a lot of it got papered over. One thing that happened in Detroit history a lot is that money papered over things. And if you just had your job or whatever, you didn't really think about the other things that were happening, the housing crisis, the inequality, those sort of things, if you didn't directly experience them. That's one thing that is, with our family, kind of coming to reckoning with. I really enjoy the exhibit because there's a piece of it that talks about the media's role.
Yes.
And how different papers covered things where you wouldn't even know things happened, or how they approach different stories. And it was really good to see that over the years, media has not been consistent about covering these things accurately. And in fact, it wasn't American media that broke the story. It was Canadian media who saw the smoke rising over the river, because the city and the media had worked together, had collaborated for a blackout.
Yeah.
To put a lid on everything. Now, the streets were talking, as they do, but that is something that is of huge importance to think about, even into this modern era. And one of the things, the exercises that's really good, and also is very appropriate for the social media era, is you can go and take different words in a phrase in a story and just rearrange those words, and they end up with completely different outcomes and completely different vibes out of what happened out of the same event.
Right. And isn't it for like a headline?
Yeah. Headline in the first lead sentence.
Yeah. Like I distinctly remember the first time we went through that exhibition right after it opened, and actually doing that exercise and seeing how, as journalists, it is imperative that we are, they were making clickbaity headlines back in the day. They just weren't called clickbaity.
Right. It was to help not only sell papers, but also reinforce to the audience that consumed that media. And that's one of the reasons why, as long as that exhibit's around, I want to make sure that everybody who does work with us goes through that to see how that comes together. And I want to shout out somebody who's been on the show before. They passed on during COVID. Marlo Stoudemeyer. They've been on the show before.
Talking about this exhibit.
Yeah, talking about this exhibit. There was just a park named in their honor over the weekend, which is really exciting.
Where is it at?
The folks over at Outlier Media covered it. Marlo was a great mentor to lots of people. I didn't know him. I knew him, but I didn't know him as well as many people I know knew him. Mm-hmm. And to see the impact that he's had, lasting impact with so many people that I know, makes me feel like a real certain way about it. There's just so many good exhibits. You can go all the way back into like the early history of Detroit, talking about the lakes, the indigenous peoples, the old fort. They've got tons of historic artifacts.
And then in the basement, Streets of All Detroit. But also, Jerry, you're missing.
Oh, yeah. The thing that I think you were laughing at me about, because I had seen, because we had covered the comic book exhibit, I went straight to the train set, the giant glancy train set, and I hit every button at the same time because choo-choos. Actually, it's really cool. They've got an old model of the Uniroyal tire as it was, I think Royal Tires as it was for the World's Fair. They have a little like people mover car. There's all kinds of things that move around.
It's so fun. And that actually was my oldest son's like favorite place to be when he was a lot younger, when he was really into trains. Like this kid was really into trains. And now when I talk about it, he just looks at me like, I don't know what you're talking about. You're lying to me.
I'm way older than him, and I am still into trains.
I really encourage people to go to the Detroit Historical Museum. It's only $10, but it is free if you are a Detroit resident. One of the many benefits of being a Detroit resident, you can be a member for free there. It's part of what, we do pay a lot into things, but we do get some really cool things back. So,
and even if you live at the outskirts of the metro area, like Woodhaven or Lake Angeles, like dude, $10. Like for 10, what can you do for $10 and get so much entertainment these days?
Yeah, you could be there easily half a day or more going through all those exhibits that really, a lot of them make you think. I'd love to hear people's thoughts. dailydetroit@gmail.com. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you. I also appreciate our members on Patreon, patreon.com/dailydetroit. We are not bought and paid for. We give you our honest analysis and our honest thoughts, and we work for you, patreon.com/dailydetroit. With that, I'm Jer Stays.
I'm Luciano Marcone.
I'm Cheyenne Serini.
Thank you so much for listening. Remember that you are somebody, and we'll see you around Detroit.